What's up guys, Jiving back with another video. You guys loved my video called I lived in a frat house as a Fortnite nerd. I'm going to be bringing you another video just like that. This one is Fortnite nerd gets lost in the woods. So not many people know this about me, but back in the day, back in the high school days, I used to love going to hang out in the woods. There was a place that I lived by that had tons of trails, and it had a river that flowed across like a whole entire area where you can like sit and do stuff. Well, a lot of crazy stuff actually happens there at night. I'm gonna tell you some of my stories. Story number 1, when I got lost in the woods. So all my friends and I were chilling at the entrance where there was like a river and there were all these places you can just chill and sit. So we were just sitting there, and me and my buddy heard foxes screaming in the woods. I don't know if you've ever heard foxes screaming, but it literally sounds like murder is taking place anytime a fox screams. It's terrifying. Being us high school kids, we loved adrenaline and we loved terror. So me and my buddy, just one of them, all the other ones were like, you guys are crazy to go back in there. Me and my buddy, we just walked right back into the woods. We had no idea where we were going. We heard the foxes screaming in one direction and we followed it there. And then we'd hear it in another direction, followed it. Keep in mind, it was pitch black. It was the middle of the night. We had no idea where we were going. The worst part was our phone batteries were on 5%. We just kept trying to find those foxes, and then eventually we realized we were never going to find them because they can see in the dark and we can't. And so we had to turn around and start trying to find the entrance. And that's when we realized we had no idea where we were. So we were just wandering around the woods for like 2 or 3 hours, not having a clue where we were. And then we were just like, okay, we're gonna have to set up camp here. We're just gonna have to accept that we're not getting out. We're just gonna sleep here overnight. But we had no tents, we didn't have nothing. We were just walking around in the woods. Eventually, we saw a light in the distance, and we followed that light, and eventually we found the entrance. At this point, it was like 4 in the morning, and it was GG's. We just went home and slept. And now you might be asking, it was 2 friends in the middle of the woods, lost, no hope, thinking they were the last 2 people on the earth. Did anything sus happen? No, shut up. Story number 2. This is probably the craziest story out of all of them. So me and my buddy were just chilling in the middle of the woods on a bench on this literal like bike trail thing. And all of a sudden we see car lights coming down the bike trail. Keep in mind, it was a bike trail. It wasn't big enough for a car. So we were like, what in the world has happened? Well, we just sat there because we were kind of curious. We were like, what is going on here? So it rolled up and it stops in front of us, turns on its high beams. And we were like, oh my God, like, is this a UFO? Is this like warning us? We gotta go? Like, what is going on? And it slowly rolls up next to us, and it was a lady dressed as a witch. And then in the driver's seat, there was literally a dude dressed as a priest. So in the passenger seat, a witch. In the driver's seat, a priest. It wasn't Halloween. The witch lady starts like flailing her arms out the window, doing all sorts of weird stuff. At this point, we were just like frozen in shock. Sure, it was an entertaining show. Like, we didn't know what was happening. We probably should have ran, but we just chilled and watched it happen. And so the witch lady was just like screaming at us, not doing anything that made sense. And the priest was like saying a prayer. So I think we might have gotten cursed, but I'm not 100% sure. And then the priest said, like, God bless you, children. Like, I hope you have a safe night. So yeah, after that, we kind of just sat there for a little while longer. And then we turned to each other and said our first words. We were like, yeah, that was about it. Something I forgot to mention. Earlier in the night, we had heard boomboxes going off in the middle of the woods. We had assumed it was just like a party or something, but I think it might have been like a witch ceremony at this point, because that makes more sense. There was literally a witch that came up to us. It was just like playing EDM or something, or like techno in the middle of the woods. It was weird, but we didn't really think much about it until after that. Anyways, story number 3. This one's a little less exciting, but you guys literally aren't going to believe me when I say it. So basically, me and my buddy were with some other people, but we split off, and we were walking back to the entrance of the park to leave. We were going down this dirt path, and then all of a sudden, we heard a twig snap right in front of us. We were like... And so we look up and see just a bunch of eyes, like, all around us. And so I struggle to take out my phone because I'm like, holy crap, like, what is this? Could it be like a cult? Or is there a bunch of, like, animals about to eat us? So I take out my phone, turn on my light, and it's just a ton of deer right in front of us. And they just start sprinting in every direction. It was pretty crazy. So yeah, after that we just walked back to the entrance and it was over. Story number 4. This one, I was just being an idiot. It was late at night again, like all the other stories. We were just listening to music, like hiking in the woods, and I saw a little stream that I had never seen before, a little stream of water, and I was like, yo, I want to go down to that. So I started sliding down this little mountain thing, and I get down to it, and I'm just chilling down there. But it was really hard to get down and back up, and I didn't realize how steep that mountain was until we went back the next day and it was daylight, and we went to that same exact spot, and it was like a full-on steep like drop. Like I literally went mountain climbing in the middle of the night. So now this brings us to another little story, but it's not really a story. It's just like another part of the map, another part of the park. So this was during the daytime, unlike the other stories. There's a place in the park where you can go like cliff jumping into the river. And my friends and I come here all the time. So one day we go there and there's just a bunch of people. So we join in the fun. Anyways, they had this big old boombox and we started rapping and stuff and freestyling. And then on top of that, we started meeting some of the other people. And turns out that one of the other ones was a streamer. One of the other ones was a rapper. And me and my friend, I'm a streamer, he's a rapper. So it was really weird that we met up there. You never know what you're gonna find in the woods. Some other really cool spots in this place. There's an abandoned house in the middle of like this dead cornfield, and one day my friends just decided to sprint through the dead cornfield, which is disgusting. There's spiders everywhere and all sorts of bugs. I wasn't gonna go through there, but they started sprinting through in the weirdest way possible. They were like sprinting like, it was weird. I'm not gonna go into detail. Anyway, so that was a pretty cool spot. And then there's another spot in the middle of the place where there's just a bunch of spray painting on this little bridge over a stream. I went with one of my friends to the little abandoned bridge, and she was doing tarot card readings. And she literally described everything in the tarot cards about what's going on in my life. And it wasn't like one of those like broad things where she says like, you're feeling like this because of this. It was like, she was saying like, you have a career path and you don't know whether or not you want to go down it. And this is when I was deciding whether or not I want to go full-time with streaming and YouTube and this and that. And she didn't know anything about that. So she described it perfectly. She actually helped me figure out that I wanted to do this full-time. So shout out to her. This last story, I'm going to have to kind of keep on the flow. Basically, a girl went missing in the woods and they started monitoring the woods at night, and you weren't allowed to go in anymore at night. And my friends and I were always there, so we like completely forgot about it. I was on a date with this girl in the woods, and we started hearing this voice in the cornfield. We were like, holy crap. So we started walking away from the voice because we didn't want to mess with that. It sounded kind of creepy. And then we heard it again, and it was like following us through the woods. And then after 3 times, we realized that it was like a speakerphone in the woods, but the speakerphone was sketch as heck. Like, how are we supposed to know? Anyways, once we realized it was a speakerphone, it was saying, the park is closed, you need to go to the entrance. But we were way deep in the woods at this point, so we started heading towards the entrance, and by the time we got there was like a light shining at us, and it started tracking us, and it was like, when we got there was a cop waiting for us. And the cop like got us in our car, asked for our license and everything, and said that we would go to court and like get fined $500 and stuff for being in the woods after hours. But it was like 30 minutes to an hour after the park closed. Like, they were being ridiculous, but they were just being cautious. Anyways, they let us off with a warning, and we were like, okay, cool. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed these stories, just random stuff from the past. Good times, good times. If you guys want to see more videos like this, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, drop video ideas in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.